We invited the Secretary of Commerce to come to testify before us this afternoon about his department's budget request, as Secretaries of Commerce have done consistently for many decades. After agreeing, he then communicated to us via others at the department that he was backing out and wanted to send his deputy in his place. But Secretary Ross had no scheduled conflicts to speak of and no other excuse other than the fact that he simply didn't want to appear before this subcommittee and be held personally accountable. This is the second time the subcommittee has experienced this problem during this administration. The first was 2 years ago, when former Attorney General Jeff Sessions became worried about the Russia investigation. The second is today. I think that the Secretary's action today show a stunning disrespect for the mechanisms of our democracy and the Article I powers of the Congress, as if we needed any reminding that the President and his staff couldn't care less about our institutions of democracy. We see a clear manifestation of that problem this afternoon. I understand that Deputy Secretary Karen Dunn Kelly has offered to testify. That will not be happening. This subcommittee invited Secretary Ross to testify, and he's the only one who will be allowed to testify at this hearing. Neither the Deputy Secretary nor any other department officials will be recognized to give a statement or to answer questions. I strongly believe in transparency and accountability, and that starts at the top of every government agency, including the Commerce Department. The Secretary has a lot of questions that he should answer directly. This is particularly true with regard to the census, where at this hearing last year, the Secretary appeared to lie in response to questions from myself and Congresswoman Meng regarding the addition of a citizenship question to the 2020 census. It's also true for the overall Commerce Department budget, which shows a shocking disregard for the American people. The Commerce Department budget process eliminating programs that specifically help rural and underserved communities, like the Economic Development Administration and the Manufacturing Extension Partnership Program. It undermines community safety and climate change research by proposing an 18% cut to NOAA, including the elimination of several dozen important grant research and educational programs. The budget once again underfunds the Census Bureau, even for the critical census taking place in year 2020. It proposes to eliminate funding for minority business development centers. The Secretary should be here to justify these harmful proposals rather than ducking our questions. Congress, through this committee, controls the power of the purse as specified in Article 1, Section 9 of our Constitution. Perhaps the Secretary has forgotten this and needs a reminder. At this time, I will recognize members of this subcommittee for any statements that they may want to make. Act from the work of the Commerce Department is just the opposite, in my opinion. Not showing up makes our markup, makes our writing of the bill much more difficult. Secondly, repetition of what I said before. If anybody thinks that you can have a hearing with an agency as large, a department as large as the Commerce Department, and not discuss other issues that are before us and that are pending, then you've never been on the Appropriations Committee. And I'm not suggesting anyone said that, but that's part of what was said in the letter that the Secretary sent to us. So we are going to recess the committee, subject to the call of the chair, with the hope that the Secretary understands that this is not about making his life miserable. This is about making sure we have a good department, we have good programs, that all the agencies within that department are taken care of, and yes, that there is a fair and accurate census count. And so with that, we will recess, subject to the call of the chair.